Fox Weather is your severe weather HQ. And we've had a lot of severe weather at the beginning of this season. We know March is part of severe weather season, but we've had it in some weird spots, like a little early in the season to see it up in the upper Midwest like we had back on Tuesday. And, the last couple of days, obviously, we've had a lot of severe weather. This was Kankakee, Illinois. This was Tuesday night. I'm sure you've seen plenty of that tornado. And then Wheatfield, kind of the same supercell there that produced a couple of different tornadoes. That was a very interesting meteorological setup. We had another interesting setup meteorologically today. And what I've got here, I just want to start by giving you an overview of what we've had over the last couple of days. This was the blizzard storm too, remember? So this was yesterday's severe weather. Out in the middle part of the country, we had several tornadoes and a whole lot of reports of wind damage, a few reports of some hail too. And then basically that line just continued toward the east. The clock is up at the top left of the screen. It didn't really die down too much, and we were expecting a very significant severe weather outbreak out in this part of the country here, mid-Atlantic down into the Carolinas. And look, it didn't pan out to like the level 4 out of 5 risk that was put out from the Storm Prediction Center, but there were a pretty decent amount of storm reports, and we still have some coming in with the cold front. Without further ado, let's bring in Warning Coordination Meteorologist for the Storm Prediction Center. Really cool of you to come on, Evan Bentley. I've been wanting to talk to you for quite a while. So first off, before we get into anything, again, I know you got a lot of weather Twitter that's all up in arms about today. Oh, we saw this coming last night. Why didn't you guys, lower the risk and all this kind of stuff? Do you look at this as a bust? Because, I mean, when I look at this map, there are actually a pretty solid amount of wind LSRs that are within that area.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's always a term that gets thrown around a lot. And people always wonder, well, what do you guys consider a bust? I would definitely say on the tornado side it was. We had fairly high probabilities, and that part of it just really didn't work out. There's a lot of factors, a lot of which we'll probably get into here for that. But on the wind side, I wouldn't necessarily call that a bust because we're looking for something that's mainly 2 categories off in those type of scenarios to really be like it was way off. We're going to end up with probably over 300 wind reports from this event, and it definitely didn't verify at that level 4 out of 5, the moderate risk that we were kind of aiming for with our messaging, but it's probably going to verify as a solid enhanced risk with, a fair amount of measured severe wind, which is actually fairly rare east of the Appalachians.
Yeah, I mean, it always seems like when you get these lines of storms that come through the Northeast, for some reason, it just lights up like a Christmas tree with LSRs with the wind. And I think that probably, I would imagine, maybe factored into some of the forecasting there. I'm curious on the timeline with this because, I was on the train on my way to work, and, as a weather enthusiast, I was kind of excited because I saw there was a tornado watch in New Jersey. I woke up with like a pep in my step. I'm like, all right, it's going to be one of those days. And, you could kind of quickly see things falling apart, I would imagine. And, there are a lot of people that are saying, why didn't we lower the chance a little bit earlier? It seems like we held on to the level 4. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we held on to the level 4 through the 11:30 update this morning, and then downgraded to a 3 a little bit later on. Was it not apparent at that time? Was there something like behind the scenes that you guys were seeing to make you think like maybe this still could perform to a really high level?
So the downgrade piece is really challenging. We were having those same conversations at that time. In fact, the outlooker said, is it time to drop this down to a moderate? We've seen some of the signs that it's downtrending. Are we ready for that yet? And, at that time we had tornado watches out. We had storms with tornado warnings ongoing, and still the squall line that we knew was going to come through later in the day. And the big challenge with downgrading is we've been messaging this to make sure people are prepared. The last thing we want to do is message a downgrade and have people maybe take the severe threat less seriously. And, really on my personal conscience, if we have that type of thing happen and, somebody ends up being injured or even worse, killed from a severe weather event after the downgrade in messaging, that's a really challenging piece that is hard to live with.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And I'm curious, do you guys have like a threshold or something? Because I know like with the Hurricane Center, they can't go from like a really high forecast to a really low forecast. There's kind of like they like to trend it down over time. Is there ever a situation where you guys, see something is just totally not panning out and you'll just go from like a moderate to a slight, or does there have to be like some kind of slow ramp down?
Oh, there definitely doesn't have to be.
Okay.
We're always trying to make sure that we get the right message across. And really, when we're trying to upgrade a forecast, we're looking, all right, when have we kind of reached that next tier of confidence that this is where the event's going to be? On the downgrade side, we need more than that. It's not just, okay, it's kind of trending in the other direction, because from a public trust perspective, the last thing we want to do is drop the forecast down, then bounce it back up again, and really start flip-flopping our messaging. And so we're really slow to downgrade. And when we're ready to downgrade, it's when we're very confident that the threat is much lower, much significantly lower, where there's really the threat's getting low enough that we think it's okay, maybe even to start lessening the concern about the severe weather threat.
Yeah, totally understandable. Okay, let's go through some of the meteorology with this, and then I'm going to unleash some of the Twitter comments and questions, if you're cool with that. Some are a little spicy, a lot are supportive, but maybe we can attack those together. So here's the meteorology behind this. So the first thing, and feel free to jump in whenever you want here. I just look at the radar here, and I feel like it was this prefrontal batch of storms that we were maybe expecting to be, the tornado producing, maybe the long track producers. Maybe this linear piece of storms here was supposed to fall apart a little bit more. Maybe we would get a little bit of clearing out here. Like, what would you say? And I do have some graphics to support this, like with CAPE. I've got the trough at 500. I've got the 850 jet. I've got some of this stuff like the cap and all that. I know we still haven't done the full post-mortem because the event is still in progress, but is there something that sticks out to you, like this was really the thing that killed the level 4 verifying?
There were a lot of pieces to it. I actually went back and was reading the forecast at day 3 and day 4. We were talking about isolated to scattered storms developing across the warm sector ahead of the front. And what we ended up with was widespread storms, which was a very big issue as part of it. And also, if you look at where the storms were along the squall line, they were well ahead of the front. So we ended up having all that cloud cover and all that extra precipitation really kind of move into what was supposed to be the air mass that was warming and becoming more destabilized during the day. So that then when the cold front came through this evening, we're seeing it. I mean, we're seeing measured wind gusts here this evening along that cold front, but without all that juice that got eaten up this morning by those storms, it's not producing near to the potential we thought it could.
Yeah, I also feel like the upper level energy didn't perfectly line up, right? So we talk about this a lot on the show where, I mean, this is a big piece of energy. It kind of looks like it goes negative. And the way I explain it to the viewers is, you're kind of looking for when this kicks through like a foot kicking a soccer ball or something like that. And, a lot of these storms, it seems like the energy didn't line up perfectly with when the storms were around. Like we had a lot of storms around during the morning, kind of the early afternoon, and then the energy has really just started to kick in over the last couple of hours, and that's probably playing into why the squall line is also producing some pretty solid wind gusts. Would you agree?
Yeah, the case here where we had basically slow ascent, we didn't have that rapid deepening, or I guess the rapid mid-level trough moving through the area, just led to a bunch of kind of mushy storms. And really this evening we have that nice, really well-defined line now that the dynamics are here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I don't want to shortchange all the we got so many good questions on X, so Chris is just going to start throwing them up rapid fire. I'll ask you and then we'll let you respond. Okay, this one is from Matt. Today's events can easily be chalked up to cry-wolf syndrome, which SPC has battled since its inception. What processes are in place at the SPC to combat that syndrome? And what is SPC's view on how they're thought of by the general public?
Yeah, so this is one I'll push back on pretty substantially because actually it's quite the opposite. We are very, very cognizant of not being the cry-wolf syndrome. I would say there's probably 10 times that people are wondering why we didn't upgrade versus the one that people are wondering why we didn't downgrade. And so that's something that we care about a lot for our credibility. And we really try to make sure if we are sounding that alarm, our confidence is high. The other piece that I did want to mention that we hadn't gotten into yet is, from a messaging piece, we're really trying to get preparedness out there into that day 3-4 timeframe. And we've had a lot of people telling us that's really what's needed from the weather community to help make sure that we can get that preparedness in place. And that's tough to do without occasionally having these events where, the model guidance downtrends for you and you end up in a tough spot.
Yeah, totally get that. Let's go, Chris. Keep them coming. This one is from Sam Roberts. She says, what was the reasoning backing the persistence behind this forecast? Did the potential risks of downplaying the event if things did happen play a role?
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. If you downgrade and a significant event happens afterwards, it really isn't a great look. And so we really wait until the threat really has gone down before we're ready to downgrade.
Okay, yeah, that does make some sense. Okay, when I look back on things and I saw there were some meteorologists, I think of like Matt Capucci. I think a little bit earlier on, he put out this video where he just took full responsibility. Like, okay, this didn't work out. I goofed up the forecast. At least for me, when I look back on the way that things went this morning, I wonder if we just went to a slight at the 11:30 update. That kind of gives the it gives the general public kind of this, okay, it didn't work out, no big deal. I think at least the vibe that I was getting from what was being said online was people were annoyed that they thought it was like doubling down. They were like, geez, at this point, we can really see that it's not going to happen. You know, I know we've kind of addressed that a little bit, but maybe a few more thoughts on that before we go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a complicated piece because the front's still farther to the west, and we've got mid-60s dew points in place across the parts of North Carolina, and and even there in the morning, it wasn't clear that we were going to have all of that, all that moisture basically be washed out at that point. And so there was still some potential, especially on the wind side. The tornado threat we did downgrade at that point from 15 down to 10. That was becoming very apparent at that point. But the wind threat along the front, we knew could be pretty substantial since that's when the dynamics of the system were coming out. And we're seeing that this evening, just not quite to the caliber that we thought it might be.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the idea that the front was still off toward the west and, we still had that to go. There was actually a part of me, like, in the back of my brain where I was like, how sick would this be if, like, I'm planning on having Evan on tonight to talk about what went wrong in the forecast. What if that front all of a sudden produces, I mean, it didn't end up going nuts or anything, but it is producing definitely some wind damage through DC as we speak. All right, Evan Bentley from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm so glad we got to talk to you. You're a new friend of the show. We appreciate the time tonight, and we would love to have you back again at some point if you're cool with that.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ari.